We found a lot of power in these core words that our students didn't have before when we were just giving them nouns. They're getting an immediate reaction. If they tell you eat, you're going to say, oh, well, eat what? And from there you can get your picture symbols out and you can, hold up the pretzel bag or the Cheeto bag, but the eat is what got your attention. We can be used across environments and activities. And the thing that I love as a speech therapist is that it's covered all of the functions of communication. We're getting away from the scripted sentences, I want blank, I want blank. We're not just requesting, we're protesting, we're agreeing, we're questioning, commenting. It really lends itself to social interaction. So if these students can interact, now we can bring them to the table and they can be exposed. They're not just in a corner or causing problems in the class. And also can be very student-led. We let the students kind of show us how they want to use this language. And this video right here is Candace. You can see she's working with a kiddo who's got his communication device that's an iPad. And they just finished a puzzle. And they were working on want, more, and help. So she was helping him by giving him the pieces, putting the puzzle together. But this video is something that happened after that structured lesson was finished.
Well, and when he came to us, he had just picture nouns in his vocab. So just requesting type. I just left it. There we go.
What do you want?
Where did this go?
Is that funny? It is funny. Get him, 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 get him. What? How's that funny? That was funny.
These are just words, like funny is a core word, and from that, Candace knew that he thought tickling was a funny activity.
She had requested tickle before when we started that.
Right, but you can see that he commented funny. So this was a video she actually sent me on my iPhone. I was over at the high school, and she was like, look what we did! But it's just one of those things that we let the student lead that. It was an opportunity to teach it, and we did not plan the lesson around the word funny or tickle. And it may not apply to any other student. It's very individualized. So that's kind of the quick and dirty on what core vocabulary is for those of you that may not have been exposed to it. Like we said, we're here to kind of give ideas and talk more about implementation. But if you want to look into like the research behind core, there are several links here, places where we've been exposed to it, and different trainings that we've attended that your speech therapist might be interested in. But I will validate that Candace, as soon as I started talking about this, has taken it and run with it. So just because you're a classroom teacher, don't wait for your speech therapist to show up on, every Tuesday to work on communication. These are things that you can be doing every day. Okay, so the first thing we did, when you go to these trainings and you learn about core, they always have a speech therapist that comes in with a big bag and they say, oh, get this big, bag and go to the dollar store and get all these, cause and effect, kind of fun, cheap toys and try and make it exciting for the students. We got a big Rubbermaid container because I'm under the impression that communication doesn't stop when I leave, and so communication teaching shouldn't stop when I leave. So instead of me coming with my bag every week, we have a Rubbermaid container. We have purchased some items, or as we find them, we add them to this Rubbermaid tub, and it stays within the classroom. All three of my life skills classrooms have a big box of language, and it stays with them, and those teachers use that when I'm not there. The pictures aren't that clear, but I gave you examples of some of the things they are. And then this is just another one. This one's over at the high school. But you've got things like at Walmart, there's that aisle of just like junk toys. Everything's under $5. This is like one of those hand grabbers, but for the word get, it's great because you can get somebody. They love anything that flies. We shoot things all over the classroom, and it gets such a reaction out of the kids, and they want to communicate. That and bubbles. She loves bubbles. I don't like messes because bubbles are very motivating. Like bubble guns or bubbles within bubbles. So the next step to changing our mindset was learning to manipulate our environment. So if you can do this, it's like sweet freedom. Gone are those days where we were like printing out bingo cards and flashcards and laminated and cutting every night, and those were green sugar sprinkle days. The new kind of idea that has just really helped us just free up some time was changing the way we manipulate our environment. And we do things now like we lock the bathroom doors and the cabinets because then the kids have to initiate an interaction with you to get that door open. When we give them materials, we place them out of reach because then they have to initiate communication. Giving them food or their supplies in small increments, so they have to request more. A lot of times their snack, we'll put them in like those really hard to open Tupperware containers, and so they have to ask for help. That's great for the word help. When you're reading books, stop and pause unnaturally and see if you get a reaction. Leaving out ingredients or supplies. For leisure, instead of giving our kids iPads and headphones and letting them listen to music for 15 minutes, it's now a group activity where the kids have to request and tell us whether they like or no like or want or to scroll up on the screen or down. So just finding ways that you can pull communication into things that you're already doing without having to go and buy materials or cut and paste. Leaving the lights off when you come back from gym. See how long it takes them to react and realize that, oh, I need to tell her to on. So these are just some examples. In the back of your packet, there's a sheet that's the core vocab quick reference, and that is a list of 36 core vocab words that I, along with another one of our speech therapists at the intermediate level, Kim Waldo, developed. And it's just quick little activities you can do for 36 core words. And we developed that on the thought that if you did one core word per week, that would take you through an entire school year. If you want some more background, Beth Mott has all kinds of information out there. She gave us permission to go ahead and share her contact information. Sometimes if I'm teaching a word and I'm just stuck, I'll shoot her an email and say, Beth, I can't get this kid to say stop. What else can I do? And she usually emails me back within the day and gives me ideas. Try this, or have you looked at this? So she's a great resource. I've actually started incorporating core vocabulary into the way I write goals. This top one, the student will express 10 new vocabulary words with an average of 75% accuracy each. And I actually list out the core vocab that I want them to learn within that IEP. This right here would be a student that maybe is just starting. Depending on the various levels, we have one student that the team agreed that 5 was probably the max word we were going to get out of that kid in a year, and that was even reaching because we've got kids that are 13 and 14 that have 0 words. So that has to be something that is personalized within your team. This right here, the second one, is for a student who has kind of those base words, has a few words in core, but now we want to kind of beat that up and got some momentum going. So he's got a little bit higher goal of 20 new words. You can see they're kind of a combination of some core words and then some words that were important to his parents because we want to make sure that we're also addressing what their family wants them to learn as well. Okay. The biggest thing you can't get stuck on is the type of communication in which they're using. I have actually left work feeling guilty before, and I did this just last week, and I was so mad at myself because I thought, Kimberly, you know this. Don't be afraid to put something in front of a kid and second guess them, because I had a student that I was pulling for a group, and she was highly autistic, but was making noises, stimming. She was not, she's verbal, but it was 2 to 3 word phrases. She was mumbling under her breath, and everybody else was, very verbal, and I thought, okay, she's not a good fit for this group, and I was going to change her, and someone said, have you tried an iPad with her? So I tried it with several other students. Put it in front of her and felt like just crawling under the table because she went into Prolo Quota Go, if you're familiar with that. It's a system where there's folders with lots of categories. You have to scroll and swipe and move pages to find words. She started saying 5 and 6 word sentences right in front of my face, and I didn't do a thing. I would love to claim that I taught her that, but don't ever second guess your students. So again, that's the second time I've done that, and I thought, ugh. Different systems can be used with CORE. It doesn't have to be one specific thing. If you go to a LAMP training, which is language acquisition through motor planning, I absolutely love them, but don't let them convince you that's the only way you can use CORE vocabulary. We do have several students that are using LAMP on an iPad, but then we have some lower level students that can only handle 4 pictures. And I like Talkboard. It's an app. They give you a free, there's a free version of it where you can do 2 different boards for that student. For $16.95, you can download the whole thing. You can have the entire thing where it's unlimited boards for those students. We've got students that have NovaChat in our room. We've got some kids that just they can't swipe, they don't have the intentional point, they want to smack the iPad, they're still on picture exchange. We have them doing CORE through their communication notebooks. And then we have one student, his parents are insistent that they want him to learn sign, and so he's signing 4 words. And then don't ever discount your verbal kids. We have some kids that are working in 1 and 2 word phrases, and we're using CORE to expand upon that. These are just some examples. This right here is a student that's using 1 and 2 word phrases. It's just a board with Velcro pictures, but they're all CORE. These are symbol sticks, and these are with an ULS. You can use your board maker disc if you're still attached to that, but we're just trying to get him to put sentences together in longer lengths. This is just a traditional, textbook. We've got the NovaChat, we've got iPad, there's all kinds of apps, but just don't limit yourself thinking that CORE can only be taught to students with OGCOM or to students that are verbal. We're using it with everybody. One thing that we found is super, super important is to get the buy-in of your whole team. And one way we've done this is CORE vocabulary is given a time slot every single day. So if you go back to Candace's daily schedule, she incorporates using CORE, and it's usually 1 word per week that she really focuses on, but then she's also using those other words. But for 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, we're doing some kind of activity. She's doing that when I'm not even there.